Alright, well, I was not going to do a little Fleabay edition until the weekend, as I normally do, but this is actually a viewer request and said we needed to be looking at shapers because there was a couple of really high-priced ones on here. So I went to looking and I only found one in the areas that I normally look at, so we've expanded our search. And if we look at collectibles, and you know, I do not consider these machines a collectible. I don't care what you say, what you do, these are user machines, and when they put a collectible or an antique stamp on them, why, they're a real piece of shit and they're trying to take all your money. And this is no exception for all of them. Now, I've looked at three different ones, a couple in this category and a couple where, or one where I normally look, and there's some parts there too. So we'll talk about those. I don't know if we'll go beyond these shapers at all or not, but let's look at these very quickly. So here is a machinist lathe mill, rare Atlas number 7B machinist shaper machine, pre-owned, and it's been marked down from $2,400 with 10% off to $2,249.99, or best offer and free local pickup. So let's read the description. I kind of glanced at these. I was going to do this without. Let's see. This item is too large to be shipped. Shipping arrangements will have to be made by the buyer. The buyer can use Fastmail shipping. Email me for information. This can be delivered by me for a fee if you're within a 100-mile radius. It can also be picked up. See my other auctions. I guess really this doesn't tell anything under the description itself. But we will look at the pictures of this. Right under the condition at the top, it says, I could not test if the cord is cut. The previous owner said it works, but I've been selling it as is. The sale is for just the shaper. The mill in the background is not included. So these are a yard sale find, I would suspect. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, something like that. And this is a seller that's been around forever, it looks like. I kind of recognize the name, but not from actually machine tool parts areas. Loaded in the back of a pickup, so yeah, they've hauled it home out of a barn someplace. And the mill in the background actually looks in a whole lot better condition than this one is. So this is a real fine piece of work for your $2,500 or $2,250, whatever the hell it's work they're thinking it's worth. No guard. Wiring's all screwed up. We'll see that later on. Grungy, dirty, covered with dust and dirt and rust and everything else. It's got the shaper door on it. Belts are not on the machine. This is something that's just been sitting around forever. No vise, no, you know, the bones of the machine are there, but that's it. There's no tool post. The tool post assembly and everything on top it's just turned sideways, and it's all rusted up and covered with grime. And this is a real piece of junk, is what this is. And I'm being kind when I say piece of junk. You know, it's still got all the bird droppings and hay and everything else laying on the table and along the sides of the ways. And this is a let's look at the rest of it. The best thing about this machine is that handle right there, probably. You know, maybe it's got a door. There's some other stuff on. I mean, it's a good. There's good parts on there, but this is, yeah, it's sold as is. There's no guards, no bigger or smaller guard. You know, it looks like this handle's at a goofy angle. It's been whacked at some point in time and is bent down, it looks like. No large guard. The wiring's all screwed up down here. You can't tell if the power feed assembly's been, if it's busted out. You know, decent bones on the machine, but you know, it's not this is not a functional machine. This is and you don't know what the wiring is on this machine. This may be a three-phase motor, which chances are, looking at the condition of the rest of this machine, that motor is probably junk anyway, although it, you know, could be functional. This is the later style feed case, feed cover on here and everything, but like I say, this side looks okay, and the pictures that they show of this look okay, but you don't get a picture of this side, and these will crack out right here if they're busted. You know, if they're and if they're cracked, you can't repair them. They're not worth even trying to screw with, because it's not going to work for you. So there's the pictures of the machine. You know, that may very well be a three-phase machine. There's no oil tray on the back. This machine's worth $750 maybe on a good day. That's all it's worth. You know, this guy bought these at a yard sale or something, or like I say, off Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. Maybe an auction, but I kind of doubt that. He doesn't have more than, you know, probably $150 in that machine would be my guess. There's the first one. Now here's the second one. Vintage. Vintage Atlas Model 7B metal shaper with vise, stand, extra hand wheels, special. Special. $2,000. See if there's anything in the description with this. Oh, it works. It says works, and there's a big exclamation point. So that may be the biggest selling point of all, is it works. I added several additional hand wheels rather than use only one. Added casters to move it around the shop. Otherwise, the machine does work. I never used it from when it was purchased. Sold as is, no purchase, no warranty. Now, when you look at these pictures, this is this is in some sort of a antique store, is my guess. Now, this could be in a shop. I could be mistaken. But here on the left-hand side of the picture, it looks like those are the front feet of a hobby horse there. And we got stuff hanging on the wall that's, you know, that's not a working shop in that slat wall and stuff. So this is sitting in somebody's antique shop, and that's probably not the flooring you're going to find in your workshop for the most part. So, and all I'm doing is speculating here, but yeah, you look at, there's stuff, something or other down here. We got pictures on the walls. This is sitting in somebody's antique shop. So all been painted gold except for the stuff that's all been changed out on this side, which is the guard, the feet assemblies, all of that good stuff. So it does have a vise on it. Looks to be an original vise. And it's got a handle with it. So those are, you know, big selling points. Painted gold, they kind of think it's worth gold for their $2,000. That's a lathe tool holder. It's not a not the proper shaper tool holder. A lot of them get run with a lathe tool holder like this, but this is not the proper tool holder for the machine. Motor's been changed out. That's not the factory motor. There's a guard on this side, but like I say, it's been changed out. That is not going to be original because, or it's not going to be what was on the machine after it was painted gold. What do we got going up? That must be just a scrape, and that probably is a scrape. Chances are this machine did a fall over and it busted the guards on this side, guards and the power feet assembly. Could be mistaken. Could have been robbed off of there. Could have been, you know, damaged some other way. But usually when we see stuff damaged like this, we're looking at a fall over. Yeah, you don't want a hand wheel here. You use your regular hand wheel. That's another hand wheel off of somebody else's. Looks like it's off of a Grizzly or something like that. All the lettering's gone off of the switch. This is something that's been made to look like it's something, and it's not. Yeah, that's some goofy motor. Look at how rough that is. That was rusted to crap. They've painted this up with this gold to hide stuff like that. That was rusty. So this has been wet. Who knows what kind of condition this thing's really in. You know, it seems as though I don't give too many good reviews on a lot of these machines because you don't, you know, there's stuff that stands out that I don't have a problem if they tell you what they are, represent them the way they are. But when they do this is a $1,000 machine. No more, you know, and this is a seller that's been around forever. It's an antique dealer, is what it is. So who knows where they got it, what they got with it, what the deal is. Okay, that's all I saw under antiques. They think it's an antique. So now the other one that I saw, and there's a few things that I normally will look at. First one, Atlas 7B metal shaper machinist, $2,800. Pre-owned or best offer, free local pickup. So this is a seller that's been around for a while, you know, a little bit of stuff. See what the description tells us. And this is where a lot of these sellers lose any respect or any love that I would give them with the machines they're selling or the parts they're selling. Because when they tell you, oh, cash upon pickup, so they're trying to screw eBay out of their commission, maybe not, but that's what it looks like. Atlas 7B shaper in immaculate, and it's all in capital letters, immaculate condition, just a little dusty. Yeah. Runs on single phase 115. Comes with a vise, tool holder, tool cutter, all the wrenches. Complete as it comes. Machine surfaces are still covered in oil. When I looked at this machine, there was some stuff that I didn't, it wasn't too bad a machine. Once they tell me it's in immaculate condition and stuff like machine surfaces are still covered in oil, yeah, no, it's covered in is what it's covered in. This is a and we'll edit out part of that little language there, but or bleep it down. We'll do something so that doesn't get me dinked by Fleabay here. Let's just look at the big picture. Well, I guess we better not. We better kind of focus on these a little bit. All right. Still covered in oil. No, it's covered in grime. You look at these machine surfaces, they are just grimy. That's rust and grime underneath there. Immaculate condition. No, it's not. This is an okay machine for well, it's not a $2,800 machine. It's a $1,200 machine. It's a $1,200 machine. It's worth less than half. You might think it's worth big bucks. Now, the seller, and when I look at these pictures, I look at the surroundings, I look at the way they're presented and what they've done with them. Now, this is sitting on a fairly good-looking bench, but it's got clausing badging there. It's got an Atlas serial number badging. It's got something next to it, and there's another one on down that they stuck on this bench. Now, that's all well and fine for shop decorations if you want to do that. But what that tells me is this badging's been robbed off of something that they've tried to sell out on Fleabay, and they parted out, and they've taken the leftover badging as their trophies off of the crap that they've managed to screw people out of their money over. So, what do we got? I don't see a tool holder there. I do see a vise. And I think they said something about having they did say about having a tool holder. So we'll look at those pictures here in a minute or when we get that far. Got some markings there on the top of the clapper box, like it's been rubbing up against either the tool's been rubbing there or it's been rubbing up against the adjustment nut up on the top that sets your angle. It's not a bad looking machine. It's, looks to be fairly complete and not bad, but it's not immaculate and it's not in excellent condition, and all this brown crap on the side of the box and on the table and on the ends of the ways and stuff, that's not the oil. That's not still covered in oil. That's covered in grime that's built up over years and years of use, and that's all that is. So I do see some tools there. Looks like an original wrench, or the original wrench that operates the vise and sets stroke length and all that good stuff. That 3/8 square wrench. It does have a tool holder. The rest of the stuff is just stuff. Probably some of it fits, but it's just stuff. So it does have the larger guard there. Looks like everything is relatively complete there. Yeah, that's grime. That's not still covered in oil. That's not the original packing oil. That's a bunch of crap that's left on there. That's what that is. Built up over 50 years of grunge and grime. What else we got there? That all looks proper. There again, you can see the one side of the feed housing. Look at the scrape marks on the side of that cover, which aren't going to affect anything, but it's wobbling away there and rubbing against something. And the other side, of the top of that feed ratchet cover may be cracked out. That's what we want to see, is we want to see both sides of the top of those feed covers. Got the door, got the smaller guard. All in all, it's not a bad looking machine, but it's not immaculate. It's not still covered in the original oil. That's a bunch of crap. I wish these people would learn how to take a proper photo or turn it the proper way before they uploaded it. Anyway, so that's what that is. $1,200 machine. $1,200 machine. You might have got me to say 13 or 14 until you told me it was immaculate. That just makes you a liar. So that's that one. Now there's a few parts down here, and there's about 4 of them that I see, and then it's in stuff that I've already covered. But let's talk about these a little bit. There's a Atlas knee, and these are all from the same seller. I'll preface this: we'll only go and look at the one of them probably, because one of them is probably a good deal. There's a brand new seller. He's only got 5 items listed. I've kind of researched him a little bit already. He's got, and they're Atlas Shaper parts. So he's parting out an Atlas Shaper. These parts don't look bad, and his prices for the most part, well, they're okay. They're nothing great, but they're okay. Now he's got this is too high price. He's got an Atlas Shaper knee Evans S7-6A table box, pre-owned, $150 with no bids, $40 shipping. No, a table is, there's no need to buy a table. If you've got one, even if it's chowdered up a little bit, unless all the T-slots are just busted out of it, which I have seen occasionally. Otherwise, there's no need to replace your table. You face off your table, top and sides, and you move on. If you're going to replace a table, I wouldn't give more than $75 for a table, and $40 shipping's not bad for that probably, but that table auction price, it's only worth $50-$75. It's worth half of what he's starting his bidding at. So there's no reason at all to replace a table. Now this one is actually probably a good deal. He's got an Atlas Shaper ratchet gear case, S7-22D and S7-23D. This minus the gears, and he's selling the gearing later on. But he has, and we're just going to look at the big pictures. There's no sense in us spending time really dissecting this because these parts don't look bad. He has the feed cover. This is the one that always breaks. You want to see both sides of this right up here at the top. You always want to see both sides if you're buying a used one, because that's where they crack, and that's where they were designed to crack, I believe. And once they've cracked, they're done. There's no sense in trying to repair them. You throw them away, they're done. Okay, so this looks pretty good. And his description, let's go back and look at his description very quickly here. Atlas Shaper gear case, some paint missing, but otherwise in perfect condition. Well, it's not perfect, but it's okay. I'll let that one go. But these are not bad looking gear cases. So either he's done a really good job cleaning them up, or they were in fairly decent shape before he decided to take them apart, which brings about the question of, why do you take them apart if you've destroyed a good machine? A little bit of grease here, showing, a little bit of patina there, but I mean, all in all, that looks fine. There's nothing wrong with it. This is what we want to see right here, is these 2 corners, because they'll crack right there. You don't see these assemblies. You don't see these covers. Guys are trying to 3D print them, which isn't worth having. And we've seen them machined out of aluminum, which probably worked, but for what they're wanting for them, I think that's probably, they wanting too much for what you're getting. So, this is not a bad looking setup. So for your $150, it's got the knob on it. It's got the gets oiler in the top, and you don't really need the back portion. The cover is the thing that you need, and that's probably $150 is probably not out of line for that, just because you can't find them. So anyway, the only thing I question on this is, why is he parting out this machine? Because the parts on this machine look pretty good. So either he spent a tremendous amount of time cleaning them up, or they're pretty good. But Atlas Shaper feed screw, he's wanting $50. Yeah, feed screws are going to be wore out. I don't think they're worth doing. And here he's got the ratchet gear that goes in that gear case. He wants $75, and it's got one bid and $9 shipping. I don't think they're, maybe it's worth $75. I wouldn't give that much for it. All these are is a straight gear, and there's no real reason you need a gear either. You need the upper cover, or the outer cover, and the components that are permanently attached to it. Those are the things that you need if you're doing anything with these. So that's probably a pretty good deal. Am I going to say to support this guy? No, because I think he's probably parting out good machines, or he's trying to make his fortune parting out a good machine. So there we go. So that's kind of all I got, I think. I don't know that I'm going to go and look at anything else. Let me very quickly just flip over at what I look at and see if I see anything else that jumps out at me. But I think we'll wait, and this weekend we'll go over. I don't see anything really new that's earth-shattering on milling machines and on lathes. Why? Yeah, I don't see anything that's earth-shattering there either. Um, yeah, there's some way overpriced crap here that somebody's trying to sell off. Um, but I don't think we're gonna waste our time right now. We'll go back and look over some of this stuff maybe over the weekend. But anyway, thanks for requesting that. Like I say, this is a viewer request, so that'll break up the week a little bit. So hopefully you find that a little bit useful, interesting. Comment suggestions, leave them for me in the comment section for me below, guys. And as always, have a good rest of your week, and thanks for taking the time to watch.